You pro-vaccine people are all the same. How can you ignore the mountains of evidence? It's not just me. There are studies out there proving vaccines cause autism. I personally know parents who saw it happen with their own eyes. Are you saying they're all lying? It sounds like you're really frustrated, Alex. And I hear how much you care about those families and their experiences. It must be hard to feel like people are dismissing their pain. Hard? It's infuriating. You think you're so smart with your science, but people I trust have done the work to prove the link. What about Andrew Wakefield or Dr. Stephanie Seneff at MIT? They've shown the truth, but no one wants to listen. I hear you, and Wakefield's study was really influential for a lot of people. But when scientists looked closer, they found some big problems. His research only included 12 kids, and he didn't disclose that lawyers paid him to help them sue vaccine makers. That's why his study was retracted and why he lost his medical license. So they ruined his career to shut him up. That just proves he was right. I totally get why it looks that way. But after his study, dozens of independent researchers tried to replicate his results with much bigger groups. I'm talking thousands, even millions of kids, and they didn't find the same link. It's not just Big Pharma either. Universities and governments from all over the world found no connection. Yes, because they're all in on it. What about Dr. Seneff at MIT? She showed that glyphosate in vaccines is what's causing autism. She's a genius. She works at MIT, for God's sake. Dr. Seneff is clearly very smart, and she's raised some interesting questions about glyphosate. The challenge is her claims about vaccines haven't been supported by actual evidence. Her papers are more speculative and haven't been peer-reviewed or replicated by other researchers. Oh, okay. So now you're smarter than someone from MIT. Not at all. I respect her intelligence, seriously. I just trust findings that come from studies with thousands of participants and that hold up when other scientists try to repeat them. Her ideas about vaccines haven't passed that test for me yet. And what about the Geyers? They prove thimerosal in vaccines causes autism. They've been shouting it for years and no one will listen. You're right that the Geyers made a lot of noise about thimerosal. Their work was reviewed too, and researchers found it wasn't reliable. They used flawed methods, and their findings couldn't be repeated by other studies. That's why thimerosal was taken out of most vaccines anyway, even though no solid evidence ever linked it to autism. Unbelievable. If it's harmless, why did they take it out? That, if anything, sounds like guilt to me. I totally get why it looks that way. The decision was made to address public concerns, even though thimerosal hasn't been linked to autism. It's kind of like removing an ingredient people are scared of, even if it's safe, just to rebuild trust. And what about Brian Hooker? He reanalyzed CDC data and found they covered up the truth about black boys and vaccines. That's solid proof. Yeah, I remember. That was a really emotional claim, and it's important to question the CDC when people think something's been hidden. Hooker's analysis was reviewed too, and experts found he used flawed methods. The CDC data he analyzed actually showed no link between vaccines and autism when studied correctly. So now he's a liar too? No, I don't think he lied. I think he made a mistake in how he looked at the data. Other researchers using more rigorous methods got different results, and that's why his paper was retracted. Alex, I can see how much these stories mean to you. You're trying to stand up for kids and parents who feel unheard, and that's such an important thing. Yeah, I am. Can we agree that we both want the same thing? To make sure kids are safe and healthy, even if we're coming at it from different angles? Sure, I guess so. Thanks for trusting me enough to share your perspective. It means a lot to me. If you ever want to look at some of the data together, I'd love to explore it with you. Maybe. We'll see. Hey, that's enough for me.